I'm Jenni Carlson here with Kyle Fredrickson. We're in Morgantown, West Virginia, where Oklahoma has defeated West Virginia 33-26 in overtime. Another thriller. Of course, the Cowboys can't seem to get away from these late game antics, heroics, whatever you want to say. What decided this one tonight, Kyle?
A combination of things, but it comes down to defense. You know, when the Cowboys needed a stop late, 4th and 11 in overtime, forced an incompletion, and then once again we saw them storm the field. And this one was a little different. This was a team that was extremely wore down. Everyone seemed to be limping afterwards. Even Glenn Spencer said he needs to go to the training room tomorrow. So when your coordinators are saying that, that tells you how physical and a hard-fought game this was. And it was certainly back and forth. We saw the Cowboys get out to a real big lead by 15 points at halftime. The only points West Virginia gets are on a safety. Just shows you how dominant this defensive performance was. But things started to turn in the second half, Jenny. I mean, what do you think kind of happened that maybe shifted this game a bit?
Yeah, you know, it definitely was a different second half for the Cowboy defense, at least in regulation. Kevin Peterson goes down with a strain, a muscle strain, lower body injury, and he's limited. And Glenn Spencer said after the game that he was basically forced into going into more of a prevent defense with the secondary, sending an extra body back, which he didn't want to do because it made him soft against the run, but he felt like they had to give him a little extra cushion. But when they went to overtime, Spencer said, we're scrapping that, we're going back to what we do well, and obviously it worked out. But you know, not only did the defense dig deep, Kyle, but the offense in the overtime sets up at the 25, they get the first possession, and they run every play. It was like they found another gear out there.
Yeah, kudos to Rennie Childs, you know, some of his most productive runs coming in overtime. Kudos to the offensive line. You know, Mike Yursich and Mike Gundy said they changed up their blocking schematics late for those young guys to make those adjustments. It's big. And who else but J.W. Walsh to come in at the end. You know, the senior story just kind of keeps getting more and more like a Disney movie at this point, the way he's able to come in and be so productive in the red zone on a night where Mason Rudolph struggled a bit. You know, he had 3 interceptions. 2 of them, you could argue, weren't necessarily all of his fault. Some receivers not necessarily running a full route, not coming back to the ball. But, you know, once again, we saw that this is a team that is resilient. When one side of the ball isn't doing very well, the other side can pick it up. Not the prettiest of victories for the Cowboys, but 6-0, already bowl eligible. They head into the bye week right when they need it most, rest up before Kansas. And then after that, a couple more road tests. But at this point, I mean, the Cowboys are among the Big 12 contenders right now.
Right, and this was a day, let's remember, that undefeated teams in the Big 12 did not have it easy. Oklahoma goes down to Texas. You see TCU have a struggle at K-State. They pull out a victory. Baylor not really tested by Kansas, but this was a day not for the faint of heart. And for Oklahoma State to still be, at this point in October, undefeated, they're among a smaller and smaller group at this point, so you have to like that. In all of these late game situations, it just has to give them confidence for any type of close game that they have, that whether it be Ben Grogan or J.W. Walsh or the defense, that somebody's going to make a play on this team. But you're right, Kyle, this bye week, they have to get a little bit healthier. I mean, they're not going to get guys like Ryan Simmons back, obviously, but they've got some other guys that need this week.
And that's a good point. This was an emotional week for the Cowboys with the loss of Ryan Simmons. You know, tears a couple ligaments in his knee. He's expected to be out the entire year. Maybe a comeback for a bowl game, but with surgery, you just never really know what the recovery time is. And Glenn Spencer said it. You know, he broke a rule. He sent a text on game day, texting his middle linebacker, who's been such an important part of this program, and saying, hey, you know, you're still with us. You're still part of this team. We're thinking about you. And I think a lot of that emotion played in factor today. Chad Whitener with another great day, forcing a fumble at a key point when West Virginia was driving in the first half. So, you know, I think for us as reporters, you know, our blood pressure is through the roof. I can't imagine what the players and the coaches are like. But I think that, like them, we're thankful to get a week off as they head into the next one.
Well, Mike Gundy told us as he was walking off the field, got to get the heart meds. I think most Cowboy folks would agree that is a necessity for this season. We'll get kick time for Kansas as that game approaches. Be sure to stay with the best coverage team anywhere at newsok.com and every day in the Oklahoman.